afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this head-to-head press conference for the Chief Support Contest for Saturday night's boxing at the O2, which will see the champion, the WBA Interim champion, Dmitry Chudinov, be challenged by Eubank Sr for the Interim WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. We have a fantastic night's boxing on Saturday lined up for everybody, headlined by the WBO #1 ranked heavyweight challenger Tyson Fury, and he'll be fighting Christian Hammer, and that'll be for the WBO International Heavyweight title. We also have a fully stacked undercard on the night, which will see Liam Walsh fight Joe Murray, Bradley Skeet fight Anzor Gambelli, Frank Buglioni will fight Ivan Jucic, Armit Patterson will fight Glenn Foote, and we've got a couple other guys on the card looking to impress. But we're here today to talk about Dmitry Chudinov and Eubank Sr. Just to introduce the top table, we have Dmitry's trainer, down to our far right. We have his promoter and manager, Vlad Furinov, Dmitry himself. This is my far left with Ronnie Davies. We have Eubank Jr. himself and Eubank Sr. It's a pleasure to be here with all guys today, and it's a pleasure to be able to introduce them all. First of all, I'll start with Eubank Jr. As we all know, he's a world-class operator. He showed that in his last fight, even though it did end up in a points defeat against Billy Joe Saunders. But as the decision showed, it was a close contest. A lot of people had it Chris's way, some had it Billy's way, but most importantly the judges had it for Billy Joe. So Chris has got a lot to prove in this fight on Saturday against Dmitry, and there's a lot at stake. Win this fight, and he's straight back in the top level. If it doesn't go his way on Saturday night, then I feel it's a real setback for Chris, and obviously he can overcome that if that does happen. But for me personally, I can't see that happening. I fully believe that Chris will come out on top on Saturday, and the next few fights after that are very interesting. Obviously, Billy Joe Saunders is going to fight on April the 11th on the undercard of Quillen and Andy Lee, and the winner of that will fight Billy Joe, and then who knows what happens later on in the summer if we can do the rematch with Chris and Billy. But first and foremost, this guy to my right, Dmitry, is standing in his way. Dmitry's no stranger to fighting abroad. His first 7 fights were in the States. He's boxed in England twice before. Boxed on big occasions. I think one of his most recent fights was in front of 100,000 people. And he's got points over Patrick Nielsen, who we all know what a quality operator he is. So Dmitry's here, and he's hoping obviously to go back with his belt. Christopher is obviously looking to take it off of him. It's a very, very intriguing, exciting fight. Dmitry's improved massively, I feel, since he was here the first time. He got a draw with Patrick Mendy. I was sitting there watching that night, thinking that this guy has got the attributes to go far, and he has come a long way since then. And all credit to him and his team. But like I said, the guys are here this afternoon, and be happy to answer any questions that you may have for them after they've said a few words themselves. So I'll just invite Christopher to say a few words, if you don't mind.
I'm here, I'm ready to go. Great training camp, and I hope Dimitri's ready, because this is my time to shine, and I'm going to be coming at him 100%. The last fight, people said, I should have stepped it up. In the earlier rounds, there will be no slack. There will be no give in the early rounds for this fight. I'm going in there from round 1 and starting the fight as I mean to go on. So I know I can go to 12 rounds now. I know I'm a fully developed fighter, and Dimitri's got a lot on his plate. So we'll see what happens.
Ronnie or Christine, would you like to say a few words or so?
Right, we go first. Yeah, just to say he's in great shape. I went up to Manchester with him and started with the Smith brothers, Paul and Liam. He was brilliant, he was absolutely brilliant. His weight's dead right. I can only see one winner. Obviously wish his opponent all the best. But there's only one winner here, and that's Chris Eubank Jr. Can't better things, that's all. And my ribs are better. You're alright, Eubank.
Yes, thank you. I'm very good. Well, it's all to be seen. There's a great deal of the public that I have spoken to who, really want Junior to do what they believe he can. It seems to me that there's a real hope in the country for his representation. What I've done in the last 2 weeks, I've actually brought over Maximo Perret, who first taught me how to box in New York back in 1983. And he is now training principal. He's trained him a few years back. And he has now re-engaged the basic principles that will see him, as I see it, go to the very top and stay at the very top. That's not discounting the fact that he has to get past this accomplished young man in Dmitry Chudinov. As I've always had it, the best man will win. And they will both get what they deserve. And nothing more, they'll get what they deserve. Mr. Dmitry Chudinov is a very well-behaved, conducts himself in exemplary fashion. But as I pointed out, it is Russia against the United Kingdom. And the flags are coming in, and it's going to be a very thick and atmospheric occasion. So with that, I'll pass over to Dmitry.
Thanks, Chris. Do you want to?
I did.
Dmitry, thank you.
Thank you everybody to came here to watch us. So it was a long wait here, and I do all my role with pleasure. We do hard training camp, working with good sparring partners, good big work with my coach Alexei Aleyev. And right now I'm here and I'm ready to protect my belt in here with probably the most famous is the boxer here, right? So we'll see what happens at Saturday in the ring, because I don't like too much talking before fight. I wanna talking right now. I wanna talking by my fist in the ring. Thank you.
Thanks, Dmitry. And Alexei, and Vlad.
Thank you very much again. We are here just 2 days before the fight, but I'm sorry, it's fight not between country, it's fight not between Russia and England, it's fight between two sportsmen, two boxers, Dmitry and Chris Eubank Jr. We don't have any problem. I'm very happy working with Frank Warren and his son Francis today. I hope it's best example in the world. Nobody who is have example like this. Family, Warren make story of British boxing. I'm very happy working with them. That's all. We're ready.
Thank you, Vlad. Just like to open the floor to any questions that you guys might have today.
Chris Senior, you said Maximo Perret is back in the camp. Is he now training Chris or working alongside Ronnie?
He works alongside Ronnie and he is doing the basics. Ronnie is the overseer, he's the old master within the camp. Maximo Perret is an exceptional trainer. He's rated as number 13 in the world, as the 13th best trainer in the world, along and amongst all sports. I can give you those statistics a little bit after the press conference. Chudinov and his promoter, when I spoke of Russia and England, I'm not trying to create anything other than the fact that we are British and you are indeed Russian. And where our pride is concerned, and pride where Eubank is concerned, is how we've been able to illuminate over the years. And so that pride is on the line, and that pride is British. And I'm sure that Mr. Dmitry Chudinov, being Russian, is proud of his country too. And so, in fact, we are representing our countries. So I'm not being politically aggressive. I'm just saying that we are British, you are Russian. And where that's concerned, we have a live wire happening on the 28th for the WBA Interim Championship, which will then see the winner go on to World Championship status. So there you are. Is that a fair comment?
No comment because you are a star. I have no comment because you are a star here.
That's very kind. That's very kind. Again, I'm always humbled by how kind he is with his words. But nevertheless, the fight is real. This young man in Dmitry is representing Russia. I believe that. I've read in the press of late that Mr. Putin actually supports. Always supports.
Like you support Queen.
Yes, indeed. And so with that, it is most certainly Russia again. David Cameron, I'm sure will be back.
We're expecting the phone
Chris
call.
Eubank Jr.
We're expecting a phone call from David Cameron any day now.
Most certainly, if Mr. Putin is backing his fighter and Mr. Chudinov here, then David Cameron, I'm sure, will be supporting Mr. Young Chris Eubank Jr.
There's some big fights out there for the winner of this fight. Obviously, we saw Golovkin at the weekend. Pretty much take apart Martin Murray. Well, it was a valiant effort by a man from St Helens. Golovkin obviously did what he had to do and did it very well. As I mentioned, got Andy Lee and Peter Quillen and Billy Joe Saunders have got a sort of a round robin situation going on. So the winner of this fight has got some really big things to look forward to later on this year. I think this is probably the hottest division in the world at the moment. I would say that the level of fighter and the calibre of fighter that we've got within this country alone matches up to anything that is around on the planet. And I am being politically aggressive there. The British, flying the British flag for the middleweight division, and it's not that hard to do because it's so competitive and in such a rich vein of form. So like I said, if Chris Jr. can come through this on Saturday, then there's some big opportunities that will present themselves over the summer. Is there any more questions?
Question for Chris Jr. Do you think you're a much improved fighter for the training camp you've had coming into this fight?
I only fought 3 or 4 months ago, so there's only so much you can improve, but everything that we looked over on the last fight that we saw that we could tweak and make amends on, we have. And I feel that, Dimitri's a completely different fighter to Billy Joe, so we're not going to be fighting in the same way, but you can still implement the stuff that I've learned from the last fight and put it into this performance. So it's going to be a different type of show.
I just wondered with Chris Senior, that obviously you brought him training to work alongside Ronnie. Is that because you saw aspects of Chris's style that you'd like polished up or changed?
Well, again, from my vantage point, I've seen nothing like him. But for him to actually be able to show you what I'm talking about, he needs to apply one thing, which is a simple principle in boxing, which is that you ask permission to actually go forward and drop all of your skill set for all your power. So I believe this fight, he'll be able to show just that. And it's just by being respectful to the principles of boxing. Maximus here, I've said it, I've actually said in one particular interview that possibly he can't hear the way in which I put it across, but certainly he can do with somebody else, and I think I found that somebody else in Maximo perhaps. And this will be, I think, a very explosive fight. I mean, Dmitry Chudinov, he's not a person who fights on the back foot. He's a come-forward fighter. So I think we have two live wires and there will be electricity. I think there will be a real terror. So, you know, the toughest, the hardest, the cleverest man will win.
For those wanting to obviously to purchase tickets for this great fight on Saturday, they are still available, priced at 50, 75, 100 and 250. They're available from Eventim, eventim.co.uk, 0844 249 1000. It's also live and exclusive on Box Nation, which is on Sky 437, HD is 490, Virgin 546, and TalkTalk is 525. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, ever-present Rain and Steel and Coral. Any more questions?
Chris Jr., is it important for you to impress in this fight, or more important to get the win?
It's important to impress in every fight. You know, I'm coming off of a loss, and you know, I need to get back to my winning ways, and I need to do it impressively as well. Because you know, I'm at the stage now where, you know, I'm at a level where, you know, it's not good enough to just go in there and win. You know, you've got too many eyes on you, you've got too much money involved, too much expectations involved. So, you know, you've got to do it, and you've got to do it well, and that's exactly what I plan on.
Ideally, how busy would you like to be this year?
I fight every month if I could. You know, at the end of the day, this is what I do. I'm in the gym every day anyway, even when I haven't got a fight coming up. So you know, hopefully I can get you know, at least 4 or 5 this year. I had 7 last year, so I'm going to try and keep that roll going.
You looked in good shape the other day in the media workout. Do you feel in better shape than you were prior to the Billy Joe fight, or?
I wouldn't say better shape. You know, it's I push myself to the limit for each training camp. I pushed very hard for the last one, and same for this one, because obviously there's a title on the line, and you know, I can't afford another loss. So at the end of the day, it's one of those things where you know, the sparring is kind of, I didn't get it in the last performance before, so we made up for that this time. Sparring with Liam and Paul Smith, who were both, you know, good styles to compare with Dimitri's, and you know, obviously they were in tip-top shape because they've all got fights. Or obviously Paul fought last on the weekend, and Liam's fighting the weekend after me, so that, you know, they're at the same levels as I am, and you know, it worked perfectly, and you know, I'm ready to go in there and show what I've been doing.
Will the fight go the distance to both fights?
He probably won't say, he doesn't like to talk, he says, but for me personally, I don't believe that it will go past 8 rounds. You know, I haven't seen too much of him getting hit in the fights that I've seen, but you know, if he doesn't have a chin, or if there's any type of weakness around that area, then he's going to be walking on the shots. There's no doubt about it. That's what he does. He walks forward. He's willing to take a shot to give a shot. So you know, if he can't take a punch, it's not going to last. He's definitely not going to go 12 rounds.
I came here. It is a long fight, way for a fight. Just a fight what I want to win. That's it. I came here for the win.
Luke? Anything to add? No? Never heard you so quiet. Any more questions, guys?
Yeah, question for Chris Jr. You believe that this is going to be the first time you're going into a fight as a favourite. How has your interaction with the public changed since your last fight, do you think?
Say that again?
You're going into this fight as the favourite for, what you say is the first time. How has your interaction with the public changed since the Billy Joe fight, and how has that changed your profile?
You know, it's been all positive. You know, I've had people come up to me every day saying that, you know, it was one of the best fights they've seen. When's the rematch? I thought you won. You should have won. You know, the support and the love has been it's been overwhelming, and that was something that, you know, I kind of, after the fight, I thought, you know, how are the public going to react now that I have a loss on my record? But, you know, they know what I'm about, they know what I'm capable of, and they know my potential. So, you know, everyone's behind me, and, you know, it's just up to me to do the job and, you know, and make sure I don't let them down and let myself down. And that's, you know, something that, you know, I'm not capable of. You know, the mindset I have, the training I've been doing, I'm on a mission, and on the 28th, I'm going to show you guys what I'm about.
You're up in Manchester, Chris, the Bolton area. What was the kind of reaction from the public up there? Because you're obviously very well known down Brighton way, but, you know, people coming up to you?
Up north, it's probably even stronger. You know, the northern community is, you know, they're huge on boxing. They love it. So, you know, if anything, the love and support is even more up there. And the fact that I kind of came to Manchester to train there, you know, they really like that. So, you know, like I said, I've just got to go in there and do the job now.
And with fan bases, I mean, your father sort of had a fan base that just boxing fans kind of got behind you or didn't get behind you. Do you think you can have that kind of fan base where you don't just sell from your kind of Brighton, Sussex, but bigger area, you'll pull them in?
That's the goal, you know. Like I said, in this game, you've got to be loved or hated, or both. You don't want to be in the middle. And I feel that, you know, everything that I've done, the way I am, the way I fight, that puts me on either end of the spectrum. I'm a Marmite type fighter. You either love me or you hate me. And you know, at the end of the day, even the people that don't like me, they're still gonna come and pay their ticket to watch me fight, to see me lose. But either way, they're still there watching. So you know, as far as having a fan base, you know, I want to be worldwide. That's my goal, to become a world champion, to have a worldwide fan base, and to put on shows for you know, for a world audience. And I believe I can do it.
And my job is to steer him to doing just that. And where Marmite is concerned, in this terminology of being loved or hated, I intend to steer him to a position where Marmite will have nothing on him. Nothing. Marmite will be seen as a punk when he actually realizes his potential. Hate will not be the word. Love will not be the word. Okay. That's what we're doing here.
On that note,
Can I ask Dmitry
sorry.
a question? Dmitry, will you have support over here from the kind of Russian-based, London-based Russian support? Is it a big support?
Yeah. Yeah, probably, yeah, a couple of guys have.
A couple guys. You gotta get
We have here
the
big
word out, man.
community. I don't know who is the buy tickets because it's different Russian. Who is make a choice lives here. They have little bit different mentality because we are a patriot, you know. Our choice lives in Russia. They make a choice lives here. I don't know. Right now, for respect to our flag, I don't know. Maybe boxing fan coming here. But anyway, it's big deal to us to have a fight of this Paradise Arena. You know, it's very.
there'll definitely be boxing fans in there. So you know, whichever guy you're supporting, make sure you do get down and support. This is going to be a true fight and one to look forward to.
The Russian contingent and the amount of Russians now in the United Kingdom, it's only a matter of us being the boxers and you being the media, getting out the fact that this contest, this wrestling match for these championships is happening, and I'm sure the Russian contingent will come out for Mr. Dmitry Chudinov. I'm sure they will, because in fact and indeed he is fighting Chris Eubank.
That's why I invite Chris Eubank Sr. to Russia, make lecture in Russian university. Look at this. He's smart. He has experience.
He's an excellent host in Moscow.
Yeah.
Should definitely take him up on that.
Well, that's very kind.
Cristiano Rianov's asked a couple of passes, by the way. Cristiano Rianov, the one who was switching from dancing to come and watch it.
I'm thinking so.
That was that text.
I'm not entirely sure of that one. Right, ladies and gents, is there any more questions? Thank you very much for coming down today, and look forward to seeing you all on Saturday.